Hello and welcome. It is Sunday, and you are watching live here on YouTube, the Rich Lieberman Media Pulse. If you're not watching live, whatever you're watching, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe, and we will get right into it because, boy, do we have a lot to talk about. So, look, I didn't watch any of the farewells on Ktvu Thursday night regarding Julie Haener. I said along, I give her a lot of credit for being able to stick around for 27 years. She made her mark, not as overwhelming as I think so, but then again, that's just my opinion, obviously. And I did get wind and I did watch, and I'm going to post it, the somewhat awkward looking, and I'm being very kind, finale wasn't her final broadcast, but Dennis Richmond, who of course was the longtime KTVU anchor, had a very heralded career at Channel 2 for 40 years. So Dennis Richmond comes on the set with Julie Haener with another awkward looking, albeit slightly less, but still awkward looking Bill Martin, the weather anchor, and talk about deer in headlights, symbolically speaking and otherwise, Mike Meebach, who I guess I've been told they literally put on just so they can get me back some degree of acceptance. How's that? He wasn't there. He wasn't there because he wanted to be, although it would have been awkward probably had he not shown up. He was there. They nudged him, they being the firm, the executives at Fox wanted him to be on the set. I cannot believe how bad that looked. And talk about awkward. But let's not bury the lead. Dennis Richmond did not look good. And I'm not one of these people that says he shouldn't have been on there because he looked bizarre. He almost, I hate to say this, but I'm going to be blunt, which is one of the reasons why you all come here. He looked horrible. And the whole thing with they're all holding hands and they overdo these things. Look, I realize that she had a very distinguished career, she being Julie Haener. No issues with all that. Have a party, which they did. Have it off camera. You could do a little 5-minute farewell, but to have this garish, weird thing with Dennis Richmond, who looked, folks, you're going to watch it. You saw it. Those of you that watched it when it took place, my God, what the hell were they thinking? And with all the touching of the hands, then they bring up, of all people, Mark Ibanez, one of the core four. Again, I have no issues with doing something like that, but show some degree of levity, show an area when you do it. Maybe think about not doing it all. And some of these farewells are so borderline obnoxious. With the case of Richmond, again, he looked ill. He looked like he was at death's door, for God's sakes. And Bill Martin, what the hell was he doing? He looked like a planted, plant. And of all people, Bill Martin, who wanted to get the hell out years ago, they should have let him go, but they had nobody to replace him on the weather, which is why he ended up hiring Roberta Gonzalez to fill in. I guess he had a change of heart. I am, trying to be an optimist. I am trying to be a diplomat. KTVU has seen its darkest days ever. And now, begrudgingly, with the subtraction now of Haener, they're going to try a new, vis-a-vis Heather Holmes. Meebach, I guess they're going to stick with for a while because they have to. They've doubled down. but he is obviously just not a hit with viewers. Nobody likes my Mike Meeback. And if you watch KTVU's news, he didn't get that job to replace Frank Somerville. And I'll get to that aspect of this in a minute because he would fit and be a natural addition to replace Somerville with Haener. He got it because they deemed him as somebody that had paid his dues and that he was qualified to take the position, which I guess he was. But you can't pair some guy on that 10 o'clock newscast just because he's paid his dues. You put somebody on there who would be a natural addition, a natural, have some chemistry with Haener. It didn't work whatsoever. Ironically, it put all the numbers down, which probably accelerated Haener's departure, who of course used I've got to deal with family. I want to be with my family, right? Folks, don't believe that. That is so phony and fake and not truthful. I want to be with my family. All of a sudden, you want to be with your family. No, Julie, you know what was going on. You saw the handwriting on the wall. You see the numbers began to plummet, which they did. So you took off, and God bless you, everything. But again, back to the main event, or what they deemed the main event in Channel 2. It was awful. Dennis Richmond, and I love Dennis Richmond, issues and all, which he had significantly at KTVU, but he had a great career. But he should not have come back on the set. Maybe gone to the party. I felt bad. There were times when I'm looking at this tape, which you all see or will see, and it was awkward. It was awful. It was bizarre. It was painful to watch. I'm being truthful. Anybody else find that to be poignant, to be powerful? My God, he looked bad. Bill Martin looked awful. Mark Ibanez. Mark, have you ever heard of combing your hair, maybe? Oh, my Lord, what you've had to endure the last couple of years, I guess, Mark, didn't look right. And Haener herself with these okay. One other thing. Frank Somerville, I'm not saying this because I'm buddy with Frank. I'm not. Frank has chosen to hang out here probably because I'm the only one who talks about Bay Area media, but not to show a little deference, humility, dare I say, to not invite Frank Somerville. Didn't have to go on the air. Could have just stayed behind the scenes. I know that would have been awkward, but the guy spent 33 years at KTVU, almost 20 with Julie herself. I know they were close. I don't know what the relationship was at the very end, but to not invite Frank Somerville, and I know Somerville will take the high road, I assume, but how can you not invite that guy to her farewell? Just on the basis of being simple decency, dare I say. It did not sit well with me. And I'm somebody who has oftentimes criticized Somerville. But numbers, folks, numbers do not lie. The ratings have gone in the toilet at KTVU. And this kind of finale, by the way, I'm also told that management chose the 20th. Haener wanted it to be the following day, the 21st. Why? Because that other news event of Thursday, the game that took place in Rickwood, which coincided with the death of Willie Mays. So Fox had the telecast on. Maybe people's minds were on something other than Julie Haener's finale at KTVU. Just a little side note, but just everything. The thing, the bizarreness that was Dennis Richmond and holding the hands and me back looking aloof and Bill Martin sticking him in there, just saying which he did. He didn't say anything pretty much. Thank God, maybe in a way that was good. It didn't look right. It looked bizarre at best. And to snub Frank Somerville, I'm sorry. Just me. I have, as they say, no dog in the fight. I thought that was very poor. I thought that was very, you want to talk about awkward? You don't have to stick him on the air. I'm talking about just simply inviting him to the farewell at that party, whatever party they had. In any event, this was not one of the better days of Bay Area television. All in all, I wouldn't highlight it, KTVU. I wish it was more fluid and I wish that it was less gooey. And frankly, it was just a little too overly sanctimonious for my taste. I have a feeling I'm not alone. In any event, I hope you're having a great Sunday and we'll see you later.